What are we talking about? What's up, folks? We're back with another We Trying video. This time we're doing a review. And we had to bring in our special guest, the ultimate friend of the show, the bestie here, Lauren Thomas, Lolo Thomas. Thank you, Lauren, for joining us.
What's up, y'all?
I wish I had the sound effect.
Um,
I'm like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna be
I mean,
inappropriate.
by the time you find it, it's not going to matter.
It's gonna
That's not
be
gonna
the
stop me. That's not gonna stop me.
moment's gonna be over.
If you want Leroy to get some better sound effects, you can like, comment, subscribe to get the numbers up to help us slowly grow our subscriber base and try to essentially just become like kind of funny. I mean, slight tangent, but seeing kind of funny's new studio just has us motivated to just work
Son,
harder than ever. That's a
that
beautiful
studio
studio.
was. My wife even
Congratulations
said.
to them.
My wife was even like, "That's their studio." I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "That's what y'all trying to do." See, now you understand. Now you feeling me. She
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." She's
Shouts
like,
out to
"Okay,
them
I'm
in
on
that
board."
beautiful studio.
She's like, "Okay."
But we got a little ways to go before we get there, though. What are we talking about
Got a
now,
ways to
y'all?
go. We got a lot of ways
What
to
are we
go.
talking about tonight?
Talk about She-Hulk.
Was that your impression of her?
No, that was just my Hulk impression.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
She
I was wondering.
She-Hulk gives me independent baddie, you know,
Yada
who
yada yada yada
lifts
yada 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 yada.
who lifts 6 times a day, 6 times a
Son,
week.
I'm gonna say it, and this may be a hot take for some of y'all. I'm gonna call it. This was the MCU's best show, complete show, best show from beginning to end. I had some quibbles about the first episode, but I will say this is the first show that stuck the landing.
Okay. I
So
don't know.
if you don't like what I had to say, come at me, bro. Come at me, because these Twitter fingers is light. I'm ready to light any and everybody up. Because come for it. I enjoyed the show. I loved it. I think it's the MCU's best show. I think followed by Miss Marvel. And I'll say this: I connected with Winter Falcon as a Black veteran. That was like I felt that, but that show
Mhm.
was not complete. This what I feel
Yeah,
like
that shit
is.
was weird. I don't know if it was my favorite Marvel. Now I'm trying to think of the other Marvel shows. I like this one. I really do like She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm,
It was different. I like her talking to us throughout the whole series, and
mm-hmm,
also realizing how ridiculous the whole concept was, or how ridiculous it was that she was going through these things, right? And
mm-hmm.
acknowledging that. um I don't know if it was my favorite, but it's up there. It's at the
For
top.
me, yeah, I agree with Lauren on that. I don't know if it's my favorite because I really did like Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel just hit something for me, but this could be right up there. Like if Miss Marvel's 1A, maybe this is 1B or even like 2A or something like that. But I really did enjoy this. I liked the fourth wall breaking. As soon as Tatiana Maslany was cast, I was all on board just because of how much
I,
I liked her in Orphan Black. And I was like, me and Leroy were having this discussion. Leroy was kind of like, can she carry this? Like, trust me, she has the chops to carry this. And I think she did.
I
Her
agree with you.
character was so random.
I agree, I'm on record of saying I did not like the casting. I didn't. I didn't think when I thought of She-Hulk, she wasn't what I thought of. And then I realized, as like one, we say this all the time: hate it when it comes out. And I didn't hate it. I was like, let me see what this looks like. I didn't hate it. I wasn't a fan of the casting. I was like, oh, that wasn't what I thought when I thought of Jennifer Walters as She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And then the show came out, and I was like, okay, they got to work on the CG, but I'm liking the characterization. And then the first episode, I was like, but then that second and that third episode, I was in. I was like, I was slow clapping. I was like, give me more, injected it into my veins.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like I said, her casting was kind of random, but I did like her. And yeah, I think that's one thing that I was struggling with was the CG, because you got
It's
Bruce
not good. It's not good.
who has been developed to the max, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And living as Smart Hulk and everything, he looks great. Like it just he moves different, it makes sense. And then she was kind of like
Yeah.
lacking there, but her hair was moving. They were giving us that Xbox hair to just be moving for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if that was if I would have liked it better if they would have really focused on the CG. But also, it's a series, and it's kind of like we're just trying something. We're seeing what we could do. This was our budget. This what we got. I think for what they had, it was a good show. I would watch a season two. The finale kind of threw me because I have some questions, and I'm sure y'all can answer those questions for me. But yeah, I think that was my only thing that was really lacking was that CG for her.
I
Lauren, talk to me about. Or, Leroy, go ahead if you had something to say. I want to ask Lauren
no,
a
I was
question
gonna say,
afterwards.
so let's start. So let's start from the beginning. First episode. What where did you so like everybody's like, I'm loving the show. Did you immediately love the show at the first? Did it take subsequent episodes for you to like get into a groove? Where you were like, oh, I'm in. Like this is the show for me.
They already had me. For me, they had me at Tatiana Maslany, so I was kind of already a sucker. So I was down from episode one. I was down from before it even started, honestly. And it continued to follow that the entire time.
I liked it episode one too. I like how they tied it in. Bruce being her cousin and how she got infected with the gamma rays and everything. And so it was from episode one. I liked it, and just it
It's
increased. I enjoyed it every episode. I was coming home and being like, okay, I know there's a new She-Hulk out. Let me watch that. Versus some of the other shows I'm like kind of fell off on.
for me, it's funny because I talked to Michael when we talked and discussed it. The first episode didn't do it for me. I felt like this episode was just they leaned too much into her. Like Bruce was like, "You're gonna be Hulk now, and your whole life's gonna change." And she was like, "I just want to get back to my life." I wanted to see what her life was like beforehand to understand for them to go that hard that she wanted to go back to it. You see what I'm saying? Like they just started with her doing her little monologue in the beginning, but we never got to see like her go to work and how she enjoyed her life and it was hanging out with friends. And this happened and it was an inconvenience. That was my big problem with the first episode. Now they wrapped that up with the last two episodes with her hulking out and and her realizing, oh, this is what Bruce talked about, how your life could be irrevocably damaged. But that first episode didn't hit for me. It was episode two when she got fired, when episode three when she got the job. Those are the ones that sold it for me. The interactions with other characters, because the supporting cast really brought it, really rounded out. Like her little group, her posse. That's what I mean. Like her
Yeah.
interactions is what really sold it for me and how she handled things. So, but Michael, go ahead. You had a question for Lauren.
Lauren, you are a lady, and how'd the show hit
Yes.
you as a woman? What is you know what I mean? Because it's easy for us just two dudes and like yeah, it was cool, it was whatever, whatever. We don't often get enough of the female perspective. Like this was a show geared towards women. They talked about a lot of stuff, and I would hear like in the chatter, be like, oh, this is a real conversation I've had. This is something that's cool about the whole idea of just being able to walk with headphones in and not feel afraid. Never even occurred to me that could be a thing until I heard that in this show. So I'm just curious, like, what kind of stuff did this stuff ring true to you? You're like, okay, we need more shows like this. Just talk about that for me.
I enjoyed it, especially with like where I am in life, like with the dating apps and stuff like that. That was real to me. Also, her coming out and talking about how she's angry all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm angry all the time, but I'm definitely my guard is up a lot because I was having this conversation with my mom the other day. Gas stations. I hate gas stations
really.
because every time I'm at a gas station, I get approached kind
Oh,
of like some weird kind of conversations happening. So I keep my head down at the gas station, just trying to pump my gas. If I'm with somebody, hey, can you pump my gas for me? If I'm dating
because
somebody, they know to pump the gas.
you getting that dude from the Dave Chappelle show. Let me holler, let me holler, holler,
Let me holler, let me holler, holler,
holler,
holler,
holler,
holler,
holler, holler.
holler.
Yeah,
You
I feel you.
I'm getting that. And I don't want to get I'm sitting here just getting done with a kickball game looking
Yeah.
crazy, you know, and you over here trying to talk to me. It's weird. So when they kind of address that
Hmm.
her being approached after that after she got infected and had that pink flurry uh what's it called, that little pink jacket on, the fluffy
Hmm.
thing on, clearly she looked a mess, you
Yeah,
know. She looked
This ain't
broke
the
down,
time. Yeah, this ain't the
but was still getting approached by these guys. It's very weird, and I feel like they touched on it. I think they did a good job with it, and then it made me laugh throughout the whole dating scene because it's like, how
yeah.
do you trust somebody, especially in her situation where she's now a She-Hulk? Do
Yep.
you go with this persona of, my She-Hulk persona, which is going to give me all my likes and everything, or do I go with Jen Walters, who's a regular woman, just trying to make it out here?
And up until not too long ago, that's who she was. She wasn't She-Hulk. She was. I personally, I really felt like I was under trying to figure out how the Abomination fit into that,
Hmm.
but how they She-Hulk, that integration of those two personalities, I thought was really well done. Um, I think that
Yeah.
was the best description of what it's like to be a Hulk than that we've seen on camera, as far as like on screen since I'd say Bill Bixby's The Incredible Hulk TV show back in the day.
Because you're confident, and then you have this on top of that, you're indestructible. On top of that, it's like, I can lift up this whole boulder, this whole car, and throw it if I want to. Like, this is
Mhm.
untapped strength that you've never had ever in your life. But if you could have it, this is how you want it to be. And then it's packaged in this like kind of goddess like green woman.
Mhm.
I hated her hair. I really hated her hair, and I was just like, why couldn't it have been the same hair? Bruce's hair don't change, does it?
Yeah, it does. It gets more like that action figure black
Okay.
kind of like matted
But
hair.
it doesn't become like long and flowing.
It
Like
doesn't become long though. I didn't
she
I
doesn't
didn't
But
know if,
she doesn't turn into like a Super Saiyan.
it doesn't, but but I will say it does change, and maybe that's a discretion that the animators chose. I would
yeah.
like to see now when they did the Lou Ferrigno Hulk and Bill Bixby, who was Bruce Banner, there was, remember, the bowl cut. It did
Yeah.
change to like that weird Herman Munster type hairstyle. So there was
Yeah.
change then, but like you're right, the recent MCU Hulk hair hasn't gone like he's like, clean cut, what's the barbershop that I'm thinking of? Super cuts. And then he goes to like,
Yeah,
frayed,
kind of shaggy, frayed
yeah,
kind of hair. And
looking like
you know
Mark
what
Davis from the Raiders.
one thing that also, Bruce was trying to talk to her about, like, oh, did you have a different, is it the other person, the other guy in there, whatever?
You hear
And I
you hear
think that just
voices.
yeah, I think that just hits on the fact that women probably can control their emotions a little bit better than, or are more in tap with their emotions more than men are.
I'll give you that because so when you said that women are more in tap with their emotions and having to check themselves, I felt that in the first Avengers when Mark Ruffalo, when Captain America was like, he was getting all hype, he was getting all anxious, like, hey man, you gonna be able to turn into Hulk? And Mark Ruffalo was like, yo, chill. I'm angry all the time. And
Yeah. And
I felt that. Like it's just like he was just like,
it
I'm
was
angry
that
all
transformation.
I was like, like as a black man, I was like, Negro,
I'm always
I'm,
mad.
I'm always mad. Like
And I don't
these,
think I don't know if it's always angry. I think you're just more self-aware, and you're more
no, I'm angry. I'm
things
angry.
hit you differently, and you just have to know how to react. You know that you can't react the same way as your id is telling you to do. Your id is
So
saying throw tables, bust heads, and all that
done
kind of
all of
stuff.
those, done all of that.
But the professional black person in you is like, you need this job. Let's go ahead and
sometimes,
just
sometimes, like
let's keep this job.
I will be straight up honest with you. When I would come home when me and my sister lived together, or like when I was staying with my parents, I would come home, I'd be mad, and my mom would be like, "Do you still have a job?" My sister was like, "Are you still employed?" And I was like, "Today, we see tomorrow." And so like my id was always it was that self-control. Like I had to learn because as the anger would build up inside me, I'd just be like, I I couldn't just contain. I couldn't control. So it's interesting that they talked about that whole conversation that
Mhm.
Bruce had, where he was like, it took years. Like that man had
He had a binder.
That dude
Man was
had
like, okay,
bind.
we'll skip the first chapter.
He was like, and remember, he was hot. He was upset. He had that binder. He was like, all right, we don't need that. And
I
like
was working on this for years, bro. You
I
telling me?
felt that. And then Jennifer Walters was like, bruh, I'm angry every day. Like I make
Every
and
day.
and then it's like we all have worked in journalism, so we know about the pay gap. We know about the pink tax. So we know about the fact of women making less, women not being heard in meetings. If a guy
Keep talking
says it,
on your point for a second, but I'm gonna step off for a second. Keep going, keep going. You're good.
And
but I
also
mean,
mansplaining,
yes,
like just
preach, because
I
I've done it. Like my wife has corrected me and checked me and I'm like, oh my bad, and you don't even
yeah,
realize it because you're so used to the world catering to you.
yeah.
And this show really did open my eyes. But let me ask you this: so
Mhm.
as you're watching the show, and we got to Titania, how did you feel about her character? Because I thought the way they changed her character from the comics was like as a social media influencer, as a almost I don't say culture vulture, but basically usurping the idea of what She-Hulk was and then using it for her own game. Like I've got like Ashian vibes.
Yeah. I mean,
I got Gwyneth.
we see it all the time with super influencers.
Yep.
So what was she like in the comics? 'Cause I
So
didn't.
she was like this buxom redhead woman who was like, angry, pulled heist jobs. She was a criminal, but I
Okay.
mean, she's changed over time, and she's like on the side of angels now with her husband. They work for the government. They're superheroes now. But excuse my French, she was a bad bitch. She was like, when you saw Titania coming, you was like, I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah.
But she like talked about that character because I really was not feeling her at first, and I love her now. Like I'm like, yo,
I
I'd watch a
don't know
whole
if
show of her.
I don't know if I like her because she's kind of representing everything that I don't like about social
Mhm.
media and the super influencers and all that kind of stuff. So I don't she to me was it's like, I've been on my lock journey,
Yeah.
And so I've been like very natural, I'm like one of the natural girls, right? And then seeing and working out,
Mhm.
trying to get whatever, stay in shape. And then seeing the BBL models come on Instagram. No shade to the BBLs, but y'all gotta understand people. BBL girls are out here pushing workout routines. That's what she was giving me.
Yeah,
It's like, girl,
yeah.
you didn't. You no. You got a
But
woman here who with degrees, a lawyer. Came across this by happenstance. Did not set out to be She-Hulk, but is saying, okay, this is my situation now. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm trying to do the best I can with the situation, but in no way was trying to be that girl.
yeah.
Now she is. Um. Okay, somebody else said this. My
Hope that ain't
neighborhood
your
little rough
car.
sometimes. But then you have, Titania, who basically
Mhm.
is taking all of
Yeah,
that influence from her and her own influence and just kind of switching it around and capitalizing on the moment. And so it just reminds me of what's out there right now and just how you work for stuff. And then you have someone who's on
yep,
social. We don't know what they got going on,
yeah.
what they're going through,
I
but
feel
you
you.
can see from their social media is just fake.
Yeah. See, and for me, and part of it is I maybe from that perspective, I wasn't feeling her character because from what the comics like. So there's a couple of characters in the comics I was like, ugh. And then when they introduced them and I saw what they were doing with it, I was like, okay, I'm on board. So
Okay.
Titania, I didn't like the characterization at first, but then as I saw what she was, I enjoyed it because it was so it's like, how would the MCU work in the real world? And I
Hmm.
like it because that's what would happen in the real world if there was a woman, exactly what you said.
Yep.
Here's a woman who's doing the best she can with the situation, with what she's got. And here's this other woman who's like, click, click, click.
I'm a hater. I'm
Uh-huh.
a hater.
I was like, yo, real life is. And so I
Hmm.
appreciated that idea of like this is the world, but it is grounded in some reality that this is what you would have to deal with. And that's what I liked about the MCU shows you wouldn't necessarily get in a movie. You get this idea of here's how the world works and outside of these huge blockbuster movies. Like, don't get me wrong, I love uh Captain America, Winter Soldier. I love the Avengers, all of them. Age of Ultron, sign me up.
Age of Ultron
I
is
love
the
Age of
best.
Ultron. But the idea of how these things operate on a micro scale is what I liked about Titania. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed her in that aspect. So,
Um,
and plus, two giant women fight. I was like,
yeah,
yo,
I mean,
sign
in
me up.
their last fight scene, I was like, okay, I understand why Titania is doing what she's doing. Like she literally
Yeah,
that's her only reason to be around is
yeah,
to hate on you. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And so it's like if I can't hate on you, what can I do?
You
You
know what?
know?
You know what Titania remind me of? Beyonce and Kia. Who's up my neck and my back, girl?
Kaya,
Kaya, yeah.
where
Because
am I?
because
Wait,
I was
what?
like, because think about it. Every time Beyonce comes out with something, here comes this hating ass woman. Always got something to say, and I was like,
It's the
yo,
fact that it's
I
so
came back in
irrelevant.
just for
I didn't
Kaya,
even think
huh?
about.
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
what.
it's so irrelevant though. I didn't think about
But
the
that's
beef.
what.
There really
But that's
isn't no.
but think about it. Like Beyonce, like
No
every
shade
time
to Kaya. She had her moment, but
she had her moment, but it's like every time Beyonce opened her mouth and Beyonce just goes, here come Kaya coming over here, like, and it's like, do you not have anything else to do? Like, it's just, like Beyonce over here having kids, businesses, cutting checks, and you
it's
just
some
out here,
haterations and
you
hollerations.
just angry for no reason. And I'm
Yeah.
like, do like in honest, and this is the thing, and maybe it's us as a society giving these people voices, because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't check for you any other time. But when Beyonce does something, and that's how I feel like Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk was.
Let me
She-Hulk
look
kind
up
of
this Beyonce Kaya beef because
doing her thing, and every time Beyonce opened her mouth, here come Kaya, and there's always somebody with a microphone in Kaya's face talking about what she got to say now, and that's how I felt it was. Like, yo, so that's just my 2 cents.
that's funny.
But did you
Question
not
for you guys.
go ahead?
Um, is there anywhere where you felt like the show like didn't succeed at what it was trying to do, where you wanted it to go harder in a particular issue or anything like that?
The Wrecking Crew.
Okay,
So
we're not all comic book nerds. What is that? Why?
Yeah, what is
so
that?
so remember the four guys who fought Jennifer Walters or slash She-Hulk in the alley, and
Yeah,
she's
with
like,
their Thor
yeah. So
construction site.
the the Wrecking Crew are like these four dudes who always are like just angry. They are haters, but they're just hating. But they're criminals. They're best friends. They're buddies. I like them in the comics. I didn't necessarily like them in this show, but I did like their portrayal of the one person from the Wrecking Crew when he hooked up with Emil and the Absorbing Man. He's like figured out his journey, but I still wanted those superpowered dudes because I wanted that. Like at the end, I get why they changed the fight, but I did like the fights. I love those kind of fights. I wanted to see them because you've seen them in comics. I wanted that. I like the giant Hulk Buster versus Hulk fight. I love that fight. Like that's what like when Tony Stark is like just getting his ass whooped by a Hulk. I wanted to see that a little bit more. So that was my only issue, my only beef with them because I wanted to see four superhero dudes fight this woman and her just. I wanted to see elbow drops. I wanted to see off the top rope, but it wasn't for that show. And I get it. And I moved on. I was all right, cool. That's not for me. It didn't happen the way I wanted to, but I like what they did with it. I just would have wished they'd went in a different direction. But that's just me.
I would say I don't like how they didn't use Megan right to me.
Really.
When they made that announcement that Megan the Stallion was going to be a part of the MCU,
Mhm.
we already know she got her wrestling outfits. You know what I mean?
So you
Why
wanted
could
her to
she
be that.
not have been
You,
a consistent character on this show? It's either like a sparring buddy or something with
It's
She-Hulk
funny
or
that you
actually
say
a
that
villain.
because it if I think a lot of people thought their Daredevil cameo would have probably been the same length as the Megan the Stallion cameo before it actually happened. A
Yeah,
lot
he
of people
had
are like,
like two
"Oh, this
two
is kind of yeah,"
episodes.
and
Yeah.
I think he killed what he did. But I
Oh
think
yeah.
a lot of people thought, "Oh, it's going to be like a little cameo, like he got with Megan
Yeah,
the Stallion."
Yeah.
not just I'm in the back, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
The
then the ending of the episode with the ending trailer and her dropping it like it's hot, twerking or whatever.
I
We
won't.
needed more. Megan can do more.
I
We know
agree with
that.
you. I agree with you. However, for the show, it fit to me. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I woke up the dog and the baby when that dropped. I was like, yo. I was like, because so the thing is, so when because I watch them, I've watched pretty much all of them and when they dropped 3 a.m. on our time. So like,
Okay.
midnight specific time, and then 3 a.m. our time.
Did you say
When that thing
specific?
dropped, I was hoping nobody
He
noticed that.
did.
But
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
um, we trying, y'all. I mean, I'm
We
just
trying.
I'm trying. So when it dropped at 3:01, I was on the episode. And I'm telling you right now, that did it for me because that's so here's the thing what a lot of people don't understand. That's the comic. I know people wanted Megan to be, but that's the comic. The comic has her breaking the fourth wall, her doing these type of things, interacting with these characters that way. I was shocked. Like, I'm shocked that they didn't throw in Spider Ham. Like, that's the kind of stuff that happens in She-Hulk comics. It's zany, it's outrageous. There's social commentary. There's like pinup stuff going on. Like, I buy She-Hulk comics just for the cover because it's a giant green woman just handling her business. And so when I saw Megan Thee Stallion in it and they had this connection, especially after the dude who was like, he thought in his mind he was good enough to date Megan Thee
You
Stallion.
could never.
But that to me, I like that part of the show. So
Mhm.
I liked it. I understand where you're coming from, but I liked it. Michael, what about you? What did the show not live up or not bring to you what you wanted them to do?
The big thing I wanted was that last episode to me was really good in terms of breaking the fourth wall. I
Mhm.
kind of wish she had broke the fourth wall like that in all the other episodes. The other ones kind of felt just like one or two lines, but that one she really got
Yeah,
crazy and inventive with it. I kind of wish we had seen more of that from the start of the show, not just the last episode. That's
some
probably I kind of wish that happened harder. And I feel like who's the Hulk King? What's his name? Josh, Tad, Todd,
Todd.
Todd. I felt like his repercussions weren't severe enough. Like him being sued wasn't. He, I mean, he did revenge porn on that lady. I felt I wanted something stronger than just being
Yeah.
sued.
Now hold
I
on.
felt like he got off
He
light.
he he wasn't. He was arrested. His whole crew, his whole little
That
crew, Intelligentsia, they were arrested. Now, but I do understand
They
where you're
out
coming
on bond though. You know they bonded out.
from. You know who
They
you
had the
sound like
money
right
to
now,
finish
right?
it.
You know who you sound like, right? You sound like
Who?
Leon Lott. Sound like Leon Lott, like you about to have a press conference.
They're out on bond, y'all. Repeat
you sound
offenders.
you sound like old boy at the press conference talk about, hey man, they commit crimes when they're out on bond. And this one, I was like, that's
Y'all
exactly
let
how
them
you
out.
sound.
Y'all let them out.
But
Murder
this is
charges and
here's
whatnot.
the funny thing about that, Michael. You mentioned it. The writers talked about the fact of they saw the Todds coming. Come on, they had been building this show, working on this show 3 years ago. They saw this coming because so like I'm in a couple of groups where it's either it's comics or it's action figures, and the dudes be on here, blah, 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 and it's like they saw you coming 3 years ago, son. Y'all are so unoriginal that they predicted how you would react, and they had you in the show. Like that's what got me. Like I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, it was Luke Skywalker. He saved Grogu." Like that was fan service. But the fact that these writers knew having She-Hulk, and what really got me was, and again, not to be a well, actually, what really tripped me out was people who are like, they're just making all the characters women and ethnics, and I'm like, She-Hulk's been around for freaking 20 years. Like you not fans. You're not fans of comics. You're not fans of MCU because the She-Hulk is a staple. Like, and that's what kind of got me that I was like, they knew this was coming. And to me, and that's intelligent storytelling. When me and Michael talked about The Boys, like sometimes I can't watch The Boys for a couple of days because it's like it's too real. Like it like they saw everything that was going on years ago, and it is as relevant today as when they wrote it. And I'm like, ugh, I gotta turn this off. And that's what really blew my mind.
Yeah, Michael, going back to that, to the critiques, or if you feel like what they did was true to, what's going on in even just America for women. Any woman in any role, powerful role, is getting treated the same way. We're trying to bring her down,
Yep.
talking about her, what she's got on, how she looks.
Did,
Don't worry about the fact that she's qualified for whatever role she's in, overly qualified for
did
whatever
she
role she's
sleep? Did she sleep with somebody to get that
in. Did
job?
she sleep with somebody to get the job? You know, so it I feel like that was real. That
Yeah.
touched on just like reality that women face, on a daily basis. And it sucks, but it's like, I guess,
Let,
throwing it in people's faces and letting people know, like, okay, this is what's really happening in the She-Hulk world, but also in the real world. I think that's still important.
let me ask you this. Do you think that maybe the comeuppance didn't happen to your liking Michael because you felt like it was too real and that in real life they would have gotten away with it too?
Maybe,
Because like if
maybe.
we're living in this fantasy world, Thanos gets his comeuppance.
Hmm.
Ultron gets his comeuppance. You know, the
Well, I
Red
mean, they
Skull.
they had chopped Todd's head off. Then yeah, if She
But,
Hulk
but
had
that's
like
but that's
Mortal
what I'm
Kombat
Woo!
saying.
She would
fatality
have
to
just
him and
broke
punched
him
the head off.
like,
But
Yeah,
that's
ah,
what I'm saying. Like they got
Game of
arrested.
Thrones
Lauren's like
style.
they out on bond and they get sued. But you're like they did revenge porn. They hired somebody to get in her life, to steal her data, her likeness. I agree with you that it wasn't enough, but did they do it on purpose to show you even someone as powerful as the She-Hulk has to deal with this, and this is the best decision
Bullshit.
to do.
maybe.
Bullshit.
Because like think about it,
I won't discount that.
she's the one with the ankle monitor. Woke up arrested. Meanwhile, and like she's like in her team. Shout out. Now hold on, before I go any further, shout out to her team: Mallory, Pug, um, and your Michael, your girl. Um,
What's her name? Because, yeah, I forgot her name on the show.
hold on,
Angela, Angelica
yes.
Schuyler is her name.
No, hold on. Which one are you talking about? I'm talking about Renee Elsie Goldsberry. She's Mallory.
Yeah,
Mallory,
yeah, the
Nikki
Schuyler
Ramos.
sister.
Yeah, Nikki Ramos and Pug. Those three were her down crew. But even they were like, yo, you good? And she's like, they stole all that. And they were like, yo, I feel you, but you in the pen right now. What are we gonna do to get you out? And that was like one of the most realest things where she's like, we got to hold them accountable. And they're like, we need to get you out of jail. Like, let's
Shout out
worry
to
about
Luke
that later.
Jacobson and his designs. She looked good that night.
First of all, Luke Jacobson, uh, little snooty dude, check yourself, man. I do feel where he was coming from when he was like, I am who I am, because I dressed Daredevil. Negro, you dress Frogman, like, or Leapfrog or whatever he was.
He
Like,
had money though. That was a
I,
money
I
opportunity.
understand that.
I'm gonna
However,
give you
comma,
these little
Even
outfits.
even Sergio got to take money opportunities. So, once in a
Yep.
while,
son,
Sergio Hudson got to take the
son,
money opportunities.
son, I was in Target today buying action figures, by the way. They were on sale. And Sergio, as soon as I walked in, here's Sergio. And his
All
line was
up in
out there.
Tarjay.
I was like, Sergio from Fairfield County, friend of the show, Sergio Hudson. These
But
people
yeah, I don't know. Could
have
you?
no
I
idea what
feel
we're
like
talking
that.
about, too.
Right? I don't know what we're talking about. So I feel like going back to the episode. I feel like She-Hulk's reaction. You up there about to receive an award. This is supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
your night. You got your new outfit on.
Yep.
Hair is laid, even though I don't like the hair, but it's laid for her. And then you turn around and see all this stuff on the
Yeah.
screen, big screen. I'm tearing down the building too.
Like I said,
I
but
feel like her reaction was
it was
what was
valid.
needed in
It was
that
valid.
moment.
But it
I
didn't
would
matter.
have probably snatched up the old boy that had that mask on or whatever. I would have
Oh
snatched
yeah.
him up quick. We would have both
Oh yeah.
been
Oh, I don't
uh
Oh, that's what I said. I had caught homicide charges that night.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all gonna have to put me in jail for real, for some
I'm
real
not.
stuff,
I'm not
not just
even
some
a Hulk.
property damage.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not even a Hulk, and I want to slap the mess out of a couple of people at work every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm just going to snatch them up. Like, and so don't give me superpowers. I've said this from day one. I don't ever need money or superpowers because I cannot be controlled or contained. Like somebody, so this girl, she put on no lie. She tweeted, she said this girl was like modeling, and she was like, I'm great. I'm look good. This other girl came behind her and said, I'm so glad that I have the body of a fridge because I don't know what I would do with myself if I looked that good. And that's exactly how I feel right now. Don't ever give me power or money because she,
You gonna
hey,
be like Dave Chappelle in that one episode, talk about eating dinosaur eggs and drizzling diamonds on his food so he can
do you
have
remember?
sparkly glue doo
Do you
doo.
remember when Dave had the money when he slept with Oprah and he had the crown? That's me. So, like honestly, Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, had so much control. Like they was upset with her that she hulked out, but I was like, that's just real. Like it's your moment. You're like, and that's what haters do. They wait for you to succeed. You at your best moment, Kaya, and
And
then
they've
they
been
come out.
poking you and poking
You,
you and poking you and poking you this whole
you,
time,
you know what you always hear.
and
So
then
here's
wonder
the
why you
thing:
slap them.
they see your reaction. They never see the provoking, and
Yep.
that's the best description of what happened to her. They nobody saw
Sure.
all the little things that had been happening. No one paid attention to all that stuff. But then as soon as she lost it, oh, she's dangerous. Oh, she's this.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Michael, you called it. Episode 3, when Hulk was on the phone and he was on the spaceship. When the spaceship came and got him, you said it. You was like, is he going back to Scar? And I was like, or is he going back to Sakaar? And I was like, nah, they're not gonna do this now. Cause I was like, they setting some, I was like, and Michael called it. He said, that's his son. He's going to Sakaar. He's going to go bring Hulk's son. He was, and Michael called it. I'm saying it now. I told Michael I was
Now,
gonna give
now
him
to be
props.
fair, I give me the props. That's fine, but that wasn't my whole theory. I heard that from somebody else, and I brought it up like people are saying this. I'm not. It's not like I
Right?
came up with the idea.
But you were the one who brought it up on the channel. We ain't counting them other people because they're not here. So like, comment, and subscribe. This is our channel. That's not their channel. But you were the first person who said it on our channel. And I
Hmm.
poo-pooed the idea. I was like, no, no. I did the well, actually, Michael was right. So where do we think we're going with this now? And how did you feel about it?
I thought it was very short. I thought it was cool that he was there, but it's like, we didn't even hear from Scar. We just saw
That's
the
true.
figure. Kind of wanted to hear what he sounds like or whatever. Like, huh? Are you mad at your dad because he ain't seen you in forever? I don't
Yeah.
know.
And how old is he? This is time jump.
Woo! When I told you I was confused, because as somebody that's just about the MCU, like I don't know anything about. I have not picked
Mhm.
up a single comic to read any of these, to get real deep dives into any of these characters. But seeing him there, he looked like um when you go to your family's family reunion, right? And somebody bringing up their son or their daughter that you got to go play with because y'all the same age.
Mhm.
I
You don't know
don't know
nothing
him.
about him. You don't know
I don't know
nothing
nothing
about
about
him.
this kid.
And
Why I
but
gotta go play with him?
and they
And that's
always
how he
do
was
that.
looking in the background, just like, look
And they
me, that's
always
my
do
dad.
that. They always do that whole. Well, you that's
Are
so and so.
y'all cousins?
Yeah,
This is your cousin, and y'all should be. I don't know him. I got my crew. I got my main crew that I've been growing up with. We've been doing everything together, and now you want to introduce some other random cousin who don't even dress like us. His swag ain't the same. He probably can't even ride his bike with us and keep up. That's what he looked like. That's
but
what he looked like.
I was like, yo, because that whole ending though, that whole ending was like when she said my favorite part of the ending though, when she was like, "We're Hulks, we smash plot buildings, and even Matt Murdock." I was like, yo, I was like,
And Matt's just like,
I was like, yo.
Hulk smashed.
was, but that like that's what that's why I like this show so much because it didn't take itself too seriously, even though it was commenting on so much. And that's what I could really appreciate about the show, that it did a lot of heavy lifting, and it could have done more. It could have leaned more, and like Lauren said, what it's like to be a woman in America. It could have done more of the comic book stuff, Hulk smash and had more fights in it like I wanted. Or it could have held people accountable like Michael wanted. But at the end of the day, it did a very good job of doing a balancing act that I don't think shows that have a bigger budget, bigger stars have done. Like, give me this 8 episode show over 23 episodes of Law and Order. And I love Law and Order.
Um, mm,
No.
SVU?
Yes, SVU.
No.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
gonna go back and rewatch all the SVUs before I go
I
back and
can't.
rewatch
I can't because I'm gonna
She-Hulk.
tell you right now, I don't need 4 episodes of sexual assault to hit me on a Sunday. Like, when did this become background? Like says, you watch a marathon and you're like, when did rape and homicide become background noise? And I'm like,
Yo.
yeah,
But the thing is, with SVU, I like watching it because I like solving the crime before they do.
I, this is the
And it's
thing.
always that character that
Okay,
comes in
Agatha
that's a little
Christie. I like it.
celebrity. You said what?
I
Agatha,
said
he called you
Agatha
Agatha Christie.
Christie.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But,
there's always that character, like somebody coming in as a
mhm.
special character, and I'm like, they did it. I wonder how they did it though.
But see, here's my
They
thing,
did it.
and I'm an original Law and Order. I'm Jerry Orbach, Benjamin Pratt. Give me Jesse, what is it? Jesse L. Martin.
I don't know
Get,
the originals like that,
yeah,
but
I know. I have the book.
SVU, yeah,
SVU be having some, like, you remember when Olivia got kidnapped,
yep,
and Master Chief kidnapped her, and they had this whole will they or won't they? Like,
yeah.
it got too much for me where I had to pull out. It got too much that Stabler left. That's how bad.
But
Stabler
he
was like,
came
I'm
back.
out. He came back, but guess what? He didn't come back to SVU. He said, I'm gonna catch criminals who do regular crimes. SVU,
Nah,
SVU
Stabler over
criminals.
doing the same Stabler stuff, overreacting,
Uh,
using use of force
I
at wrong
understand.
times. He's
I
still doing the
understand.
same stuff.
I agree with you, but even Stabler was like, these super sexual crimes over here, I can't do that anymore. That's why I
But they
said,
were basing them off of what's happening in the U.S.
I don't need that in my life right now.
Anywho, back to She-Hulk. The ending for me felt rushed.
Really? Y'all
Yeah,
didn't
They
think
had
so
a
too?
lot of plot
it
lines.
was a lot going on in
Like
that last episode,
like
and I was just
yeah,
like, "What?
give me a second to breathe with these scenes. We're moving from one spot to one spot. Murdoch is chilling at the barbecue, and also here's Scar. Like, give me a second to breathe with
And
all this stuff.
also, like, I knew Kevin was gonna be some kind of AI, so that didn't surprise me as much. But like her just walking through and just like talking to the people who were part
Son,
of
I
the
love
crew.
that. So for me, I love that. Because to me, I was like, they stuck the landing when no one else did. Because if you remember, every one of these shows we talked about, it just didn't click. We talked about with WandaVision because they shot it during the pandemic, where we were like, "Where's Marcy and Jim from The Office?" You know, we're like, they were here,
Yeah,
then they were there, and then the Vision just disappeared. He had a conversation with himself, and he's out. We talked about Winter
because
Falcon,
he wasn't there to begin with.
but the thing is, they didn't explain that. Or like Winter Falcon and the Flag Smashers, and it's like the whole plot line got changed. They were originally supposed to have a pandemic or a virus, and it was like, ooh, we can't do that right now.
Too
So,
soon.
like we had all of these where they never wrapped up or they weren't fully cooked. Like, you ever had somebody's macaroni that didn't need to be in a little bit longer? Like, they cooked it at 300 degrees, but they just didn't get it right. That's what some of these other MCU shows were. To me,
You mean the
this,
macaroni soggy, the cheese all mushed, and the chicken tastes like what?
I'm not going to say whose macaroni it was. However, we have all eaten a macaroni and been like, okay. And then you turn the plate upside down. That's some of the other
In the
MCU.
garbage can.
That's some of the other MCU shows. This one was, to me, perfection, because when she had that conversation with Kevin, she addressed all of the MCU plot holes. She addressed, this is too much. That's not what my show should be
She
about.
ain't talk about Loki though.
Because Loki had a pretty good end. Like, Loki was one of the
Exactly.
But again, you got Loki and She-Hulk. Out of how many? Out
Well,
of
those
how
are my
many?
top two.
But that's what I'm saying. You still had, and I will say this. Come for me again. I'm ready for all of this. Daredevil is the best Netflix MC was the best Netflix show. Punisher, Iron Fist, and I like were too long and had too much going on. And Jessica Jones is my favorite character. And those shows should not have been 13 episodes. They should have condensed them down to 9. Daredevil is the best from front to back. 3 seasons of Daredevil were perfect. The rest of them didn't need to be that long. Luke Cage ain't need to be that long. You killed Cottonmouth too quick. Black Mariah was perfect. And how you just got rid of her. Like, I'm sorry. Diamondback looked like a fake Dollar General G.I. Joe. Like, no.
Yes.
So that's what
Okay.
I said. She-Hulk, the ending where she was like, she addressed all of that. And I
But
really felt
I still
that
feel like that last episode was just moving like it.
I
It was
did.
wild, and I
Yeah.
mean she addressed like the main
Hmm.
craziness with like, are we fighting?
Todd,
No
yeah.
abomination here doing
Hmm.
this speech for these fools or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that I get her addressing that, but the ending felt rushed to me. Like, again, this is our new cousin here, and we don't know who this man is. How old
But
is he? What is his name? I know it's supposed to set it up for the movie.
the funniest thing I liked about that was when she poo-pooed the idea, even though they were going to do it. Because when she was talking to Kevin and he was like, "Hey, so we go set up," she's like, you do that at somebody else's show." Like, I loved that part. Like when she punched through the UI on Disney Plus, because I was watching and I was like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" Because you ever have watched something and you just like, "Wait a minute, hi, have I been drinking?" And I was stone sober. I was like, "Yo," looking at the dog, like, "Are you seeing this?" It blew my mind. Like, it came, and I know she breaks the fourth wall. Like Michael said, it caught me so off guard, and I loved it, every minute of it. So,
That's what's up.
um, so we haven't talked about some of the characters on the show, but I want to shout out one person in particular. She is the body double. She's called the Onset Hulk reference. Her name is Malia Araya. Go look her up on all the social medias. She is a true Amazon. The woman is huge, and she is beautiful, and she is sculpted, and she is the reference for She-Hulk.
He is very tall.
Yes, and I really want to behind the scenes of this show with her and Tatiana talking about what it's like to have you as the body reference and somebody else. Like, that's one of the things that I loved about The Mandalorian, where Pedro Pascal is the Mandalorian, but there are 4 Mandalorians. There are 3 body doubles who actually do the work. And then there's Pedro Pascal who does the voiceover, who takes the helmet off. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Shout out to her, because without her, there is no She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
We've been going for like
I,
48 minutes, y'all.
what you want to do?
No, I'm just saying. I don't know how long y'all trying to go.
I
Is there
can only
anything
go,
else you want to discuss?
I can only go up to 958. So
We need you to be in the booth before that.
Yeah, isn't your call time 20 minutes beforehand?
you forgot where I work?
Okay. Okay. People use this as evidence later in court, but all right, that's
all,
fine.
all I'm saying
Right.
is,
Um,
I'm back there and I'm ready. The rest of them,
hmm
mm, mm,
Okay.
just
There
had a
we
meeting
go.
about that.
Uh, okay. We getting off topic, y'all. We could keep talking about this, but we got to wrap up. Thank you for joining us for this TED Talk about She-Hulk that we had here. It's nice.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's been
Also,
fun.
if you want more of this, like, comment, and subscribe. Lauren, throw your socials up there so people can get at you. Because I want to give a shout out to Lauren, because we couldn't have done this without her.
Ooh, how do I do that? How do I
I mean, you would have to
throw
type it
myself
in your
So
caption thing.
yeah, type and
Ah,
then Because Lauren,
Oh, I
Lauren,
gotta change it up here.
Lauren
In
has
your
all
name,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Lauren got all kind of stuff. Lauren be having businesses. She's doing
She's trying to
locks.
become the new Madam C.J. Walker.
She's doing it all. So we want to shout out
Yeah.
Lauren. And if you want Lauren to come back, give Lauren some love. Support her in all her endeavors.
I have changed my name so much as an artist as well. I don't know. I got new music coming out eventually. Just follow me here at El Nicole, and you can see
Boom.
my link tree and all my information on Linktree.
So y'all see that? Y'all see that right up there? Put that in there. So we're gonna wrap this up. So like, comment, subscribe. Hit up El Nicole. Is it Ella Nicole or El Nicole?
Got
It's
it.
El Nicole.
El Nicole. Hit that up.
Can do that.
Support Lauren and everything she does.
Got it.
And hopefully we can get up to that status where we won't have to do this all 3 different places. We can build it where we can have our own studio and we can do this regularly. But in
We
order for
going
that
to the stew.
in order for that to happen, we're gonna need them like, comments, and subscribes. We're not selling merch yet, but eventually that is the goal because I got some ideas.
Okay,
I got ideas.
merch.
I got ideas for shirts, some tchotchkes, cell phone cases. I got it
Okay.
all. Now I don't
The
have a
little pops
contact.
on the back. People still use that pop on the back of their
Yeah,
phones.
I don't have a contact yet, but I'm working on it. But yeah. So Michael, anything you want to tell these people?
No, like, comment, subscribe. They know where to find us on the YouTube and the Facebook. I'll scroll through them as we go through them here. What is it? YouTube, Facebook, We Tryin'. Also, We Tryin' Y'all at Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. That's it. We'll be back with more stuff. We out.
Also, if you want to keep the conversation going,
Why would he tell me?
To wrap it up, only to
Right, and then
continue.
go again. Yeah, Leroy doesn't think when he talks.
I did that on purpose.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.